11 days in a row, Russia has recorded 10,000 new cases every day, every single day. That gives Russia the second highest case count in the world. Despite the spike in infections, Russian President Vladimir Putin is focusing on easing restrictions to kickstart the economy. But he's facing it all without his top aide by his side. CNN's Matthew Chance reports.
News that Putin's spokesman has coronavirus is gripping Russia. Dmitry Peskov may be only the latest official there to test positive, but he's the one closest to President Putin. It raises questions about the health of the Russian leader. For years, Peskov has been the public mouthpiece of his strongman president. Putin rarely appears without him. At home or abroad, there is a strong chance the two men have been in close contact. But Peskov is denying there's been any in-person dealings between the two for over a month. Kremlin says Putin has been working remotely from his residence outside Moscow, although he clearly still takes some meetings face-to-face, like this one, snapped by Kremlin photographers this week with the head of the Russian state oil company. It is a risk in a country reporting more than 10,000 new infections every day, one of the highest rates in the world. And there are mounting signs of the strain. In recent weeks, at least 3 Russian doctors, including one here complaining about tough working conditions, have fallen out of windows, 2 of them fatally. Earlier this month, the acting head of this hospital in Siberia died in a window fall after opposing plans to convert her hospital into a coronavirus facility, citing lack of protective gear.
A lot of hospitals.
Anastasia Vasilva is the head of a doctors' union who's become an outspoken critic of Russia's coronavirus response. This is her being manhandled and arrested last month, trying to deliver protective equipment. She says the strange case of the 3 Russian doctors in suspicious window falls is more about psychological stress on frontline staff than any sinister plot to silence critics.
No, I don't think that somebody is targeting doctors. No, I think it's really the destruction of healthcare system.
And that destruction is being widely felt. This time it's Putin's spokesman hospitalized. Last month it was his prime minister. As the Kremlin tries to lift tight restrictions, Russia's coronavirus pandemic shows no sign of easing.
Well, Matthew Chance joins me now live from London. He's usually based in Moscow. Why is Russia not able to lower the number of daily infections that it's dealing with? 10,000 a day for many days in a row now.
Well, Hannah, I think part of it is the fact that they are carrying out a lot more testing than they were before. And so it's a function of the fact that they're carrying out so many tests that they're getting so many confirmed positive results coming back. But, you know, even those grim results that we're hearing on a daily basis now, 11 consecutive days of over 10,000 a day new cases, are, you know, sort of seen as being, you know, people are quite sceptical about them in terms of Russian officials. The mayor of Moscow, you may remember, has come out and said, according to his screening results that they've carried out in the Russian capital, there are as many as 300,000 people that are infected in that city alone. And so there's a huge amount of potential, you know, increases ahead for Russia in terms of the number of infections of coronavirus.
So you're talking about cases, perhaps they're being revealed because of increased testing. But what about hospital capacity? I mean, is the healthcare system able to cope in Russia right now?
Well, yeah, you're right. The testing's just half of it. I mean, the other half of it is, you know, the fact that Russia's healthcare system seems to be visibly crumbling in front of us as the pandemic sort of rages on. I mean, we've seen, you know, doctors, as mentioning in that piece, coming out and expressing their concerns about their working conditions, about the lack of PPE and things like that. We've seen horrific pictures of even medical staff crammed into sort of makeshift wards because there's simply not enough space on the main wards, on the intensive care units of ordinary hospitals. And of course, you've got other technical problems as well. Within the past few days, at least 6 coronavirus patients have been killed when their Russian-made ventilator machines, which are meant to be keeping them alive, apparently burst into flames, setting fire to the whole kind of wards around them. Hundreds of people have had to be evacuated because of that. As I say, 6 people have died. The Russians have now pulled that particular model of ventilator that has been produced 100 a day since April from service. But it just underlines, how much stress this pandemic is putting on sort of every corner of Russia's already fragile health system.
All right, Matthew, thanks very much.